If you want to be an industry leader, you have to start looking towards the future, and you have to equip your people to be successful. We have pulled all the shotguns off of the street and replaced them with less lethal shotguns. That's a really exciting initiative that we have going on here at the Sheriff's Office, training and deploying less lethal shotguns into our inventory for our deputies to use. It's yet another tool that they can use to de-escalate situations and or use force that is not lethal.
And we have switched the Remington 870s over to what we call a less lethal shotgun. The first thing we did is we changed out the stock to a bright orange stock because we don't want this to be confused with a lethal weapon of any kind. This is set up as a less lethal weapon only. We've set it up with basically a beanbag round, which when fired shoots a projectile, which is basically a beanbag with a tail on it.
Drop the knife! No! Drop the knife! You will get shot! Drop the knife! Beanbag! 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 Stop that! Oh!
For a long time, it has been our goal to bring Cleveland County Sheriff's Office into the 21st century of policing and put us on the leading edge of innovation throughout the county and throughout the state of Oklahoma. And I think we've made a lot of changes moving that direction. Knowing that the Norman Police Department's range master and longtime firearms instructor Sean Elroy had just recently retired, and that man has taught firearms for better than 25-30 years, and he is really an expert in that field. And so we reached out to him to see if he would come look at our firearms, our less lethal shotgun, our less lethal tool program, and come in and revamp it, and that's exactly what he's come in and done. He's provided a great amount of training, a great amount of expertise that has really raised the standard here at the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office.
I'm kind of excited to be here, getting some training to people that really want the training and crying out for some training, to be quite honest. So I think that's one of the things that Todd Gibson and Blake Green bring, is that they're big proponents of training, and I have always been that most of the mistakes that I see in law enforcement across the country, I guarantee we can almost go back to how these people were trained and who trained them. So I think that it's very important that we provide the best training that we can provide.
If a deputy is faced with a person armed maybe with a baseball bat, or maybe with a stick or pipe, or even a knife, it is another tool that is more effective at a greater distance than maybe the taser. A taser has a distance range of anywhere from 20 feet and closer, whereas a less lethal shotgun can expand back a little bit further than that, and we like to keep our distance in these violent situations as much as we can, when we can, so that gives us more time to de-escalate to a peaceful resolution.
If they need to act to save their lives or save somebody else's lives, I need them to do what they need to do. But at the same time, I also need them to be able to de-escalate the situation, because quite frankly, that's why people call us. Things are out of control. They want us to try and get it back under control.
No police officer ever sets out in their tour of duty to go take a life or to go shoot somebody. That's not what we got into this job for. We got into this career field because we believe in courageously protecting and compassionately serving all residents of Cleveland County, and that's exactly what we want to do. And so anything we can do, any tool that we can put in the hands of deputies that can keep them from potentially using lethal force is not only helpful to the community, but it's also helpful to the psyche of the deputy that's put in that tragic, terrible situation. So we want to be smart and strategic when we deploy these less lethal options, and we know that there has to be a lethal component like the handgun that accompanies it. But hopefully we don't have to get to that point, and the more options we have to de-escalate, the more less lethal options we have, the more lives we can potentially save.